maybe I can ask, start our interview session today by asking what motivated you to start this venture, or if there is any problem that you were trying to solve back then?
So Swipey is founded by two founders, Mohan and myself.
Right.
And both of us come from a structured organization, big corporate called General Electric,
Right.
where we learned how big businesses manage their finance, how they have access to systems, platforms, and these things we were exposed to at a very young age. And we saw how businesses were able to use them for their advantage. Fast forward, both Mohan and I went on our own separate journeys. Well, most recently, we were involved in our own ventures. And during that process, we were in charge of building sales, building product, looking after customers, and most importantly, looking after finance, because most businesses and owners are looking after finance. And we found that we were not getting access to the kind of tools that we needed to have to run very smoothly.
Okay.
So we identified a problem and we were scratching our heads. How come big businesses have access to platforms which can help them grow their business, but when it comes to finance, we were missing a trick and we were slowed down. So we tried looking around for different solutions. We couldn't find it, and then we had the skill, we had the passion and energy to say, let's go and solve it.
Right.
And so we took the plunge and
Started all this.
started all this.
Right.
Yeah.
What were the significant challenge that you guys faced back then? And how did Cradle Support help you to navigate all these challenges?
When you're in a business and growing from 0 to 1 and then from 1 to 3, you're always having different challenges. In fact, business is about trading challenges.
Right.
You solve one challenge and then you come to the next challenge and you're trying to problem solve.
Right.
So at that time, early on, I think where we were at was we were looking to work with the Malaysian government, and we quickly got into MD status. So that was, MDEC, MSc and all of that covered. But Cradle was really a junction for us where it was, I think Cradle has been around for more than 20 years. They have helped a lot of startups along their journey. So it was important for us to be part of that ecosystem.
Right.
The funding definitely came, there was some funding from Cradle that helped, but it was also access to the ecosystem. What we solve today for businesses, will help a lot of Cradle's own companies along their journey as well.
So it's not all about money, it's about the access to the network.
Correct. And it's a discovery process. So for us, the money aspect is one, if you qualify and then you get access to the money. But to really get value out of it, you need to know the people there quite well, work with them, try and understand what else can we solve for the different startups like Swipey.
Yep.
And that to me is quite valuable.
Right, because sometimes people say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know in the community.
It's definitely about who you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop with just knowing.
Right.
You actually have to pick up the phone, go and see them, talk
Go
to
and
them.
knock doors.
Startups you're always about breaking down barriers and walls, right?
Right.
So you also need to do the same thing by engaging with them and then finding ways to solve.
What can others learn from your journey?
The startup journey is quite interesting. You need to have a lot of passion, you need to have a lot of energy and determination to succeed. So I think both Mohan and I had that in us, and we work well together.
Right.
So you definitely need to have that, all of those things to succeed. Right?
Yep.
We are still learning as we go, but you need to have some of those. Number one. Number two, when we wanted to go into this, we decided to do some research to make sure it's just not a Rouvin and Mohan problem. Right. So we went and researched, and so this was during COVID. So we reached out to 60 companies which we thought would be potential customers of Swipey. So we went and researched them, talked to them to understand what are their current processes in place to do certain business activities, particularly in finance. Right? How do they manage their cash flow? How do they manage their payments? How do they make certain payments? How frequently do they do it? Are they using their personal card, for example, or do they have access to a business card, and so forth? And then I said, 60 is good, but not good enough. Maybe we need to do 100. So we reached out to 100 and then 125. So the point being is you need to do your research. But then at some point, Mohan said, actually, no, let's stop. Right? We have enough information to make a decision.
Right.
You will never have 100% of the facts, and you need to decide, is 80% good enough? And so we decided as a practice, 80% is better than 100 for now. Let's move on with it. So I would say, determination, grit, go and do your research, And third, 80% is good enough to make a decision as a startup.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you encourage the entrepreneur out there to start first and think later, or?
It's a chicken and egg.
Right.
But if you don't start, you'll never get off the ground.
Yeah.
So you need to have enough information. There must be a problem that you're solving. The problem must be big enough, and you must have the passion to solve it. And if you've got that more or less in place, then start, get on with it, because you never know what you will learn along your journey.
True.
And it's a process of discovery.
Right.
As well. And if you enjoy it, I'd say just start.
All right. Appreciate that, Rouvin. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.